Hello, Redditors. Hello, Challenge fans. Welcome to a very special reaction episode of the Challenge Redditors React Podcast. I'm your host, Levi Hall. And as always, couldn't do this on my own. I need to have my ally with me. George, how are you doing?
I'm very, very excited. We've got you're clearly very, very giddy for this guest, because normally you've actually used it to surprise me, so that I'm worryingly underprepared for the podcast, so you look like the consummate professional, which you don't always do. But instead, this time you got very, very excited and blurted it out last episode when we had the wonderful challenge Jake on. But who have we got today, Levi?
Well, joining us today, because as we all know, this season, it's not just the two of us on each episode. We always get someone in the third chair. Normally it's a Redditor, but this week it's a challenger. It is none other than Challenge Rookie, Elimination 100% record, Ireland's first ever challenger. We've only got Hughie on the show, George.
I'm very, very excited. Also, we're really lucky, right? I mean, last year we got Devin on his last episode where he was star of the show. Amber came on like in probably her biggest episode pre-final last season, actually, I think. And then this week we've got Hughie, where he had a great showing last week. It would have been great to have him on then. But this week we got a properly Hughie focused episode, and now we've got him on. I'm starting to think you're a producer.
Well, what can I say, George? I've never smashed a mirror. I've never walked under a ladder, and I've got a lucky rabbit's foot in my pocket. Yes.
Or to quote Johnny Bananas from Rivals 3, a golden horseshoe shoved right up your ass.
But yeah, we have got Hughie on for this episode of the podcast. So it is going to be a little bit of a different episode from our usual reaction episodes. We're kind of mixing an interview with a reaction. Some would call it an interaction that we're going to be having with Hughie. And no lie, that literally just popped in my head.
I'm very, very proud of you, consummate professional.
Now, I am not feeling 100% this week. I feel very stuffy. I've done like 3 lateral flows. It's not the Rona. And I have to be honest with you, George, because I'm slightly disappointed in myself. It's not to do with sitting in a cold bath trying to solve a Rubik's Cube. As those of you that follow our Instagram know, I have not posted a video of the Levi Challenge this week. I will be completely honest. The reason is I didn't feel comfortable posting a video of myself in a bath. But also at the same time, I'm not going to lie and say that I did the challenge, because I didn't, because I tried to do the Rubik's Cube, not in a bath, and it took me 4 hours.
So you would have got hypothermia. That is perfectly fine. I have got 2 options for you this week for the Levi Challenge, but
okay.
Do we have anything from our banter segment this week?
Well, I almost feel like this is the banter segment. I feel like I needed to apologize about the Levi Challenge first. Let's find out what the new Levi Challenge is. Then let's go straight into that banter.
Sounds good. So you've got 2 options. You've told me you prefer the physical ones, so I do have a physical one for you. I've also outsourced one this week to Ed from a Challenge Fresh Eyes, and he's come up with quite a good strategy one for you, which I don't know how you're going to film, but is very, very entertaining.
Okay, if it's not filmable, let's go with physical.
Okay, so because I want to call you a bleeping bleep for failing to do your last challenge, you have to go do a bleep test.
A 10, a 15, or a 20-meter bleep test?
20.
Okay, I hate you.
And you have to get at least over 10, and then for every decimal point under that, I might make you do a shot depending how far under you are.
No, I'm just going to be completely honest. Last time I did a bleep test, I didn't get anywhere near 10. Or did I?
Fair enough.
I don't know. I haven't done it for a while. I'll give it a go.
You tell me what you get, and then I'll devise an appropriate punishment. Or Ed will devise an appropriate punishment for you.
Unless it's over 10, in which case you have to take a punishment from me.
Fuck. All right, fine. Yeah, that's quite good, actually. Oh, that's a good way of doing this, actually. No, let's make it fairer then. We'll set the over-under at 9. I think you'll get about 9.2. So we'll set the over-under at 9.2.
Let's set it at 8.5.
We're not saying it. Okay, split the difference, 8.5. Sorry, 8.8.
No, you said 8.5. I said 8.5. It's all agreed. Handshake. Sweet. Okay, we're doing it at 8.5. How about 8.5? Anything under 8.5, you give me a punishment. Anything over 9, I give you a punishment. So 8.5 to 9 is like I'm happy with that.
the neutral zone. No man's land.
Exactly.
Everyone's a loser.
Exactly. I'm trying to work out where I'm going to do that, where I'm going to have enough space for 20 meters. So it's either going to be a park or it is going to be the hallway outside my flat. My neighbors are going to hate me.
The hallway's funnier, but I'll let you get away with a park.
Yeah, okay. Can't wait. I don't know. I hate these challenges, but I do them anyway, except for last week. Banter. Let's do some banter so I don't have to think about doing a bleep test.
I've had quite a good week for that, actually. I went to my first festival in 2 years on Monday. And first
Reading,
off,
Leeds?
No, All Points East. So it's
Coachella?
basically no. Coachella is literally for posing jackasses. Can't believe they claim that's better than Glastonbury. Anyway, no, I went to All Points East, headlined by one of my favourite bands at the moment, Foals, which was absolutely brilliant. But what was quite lovely was being surrounded by 10,000 other idiots. No mask, COVID test on the way in, so negative or vaccine pass, and you were grand. Did a really good job making sure everyone was safe. And more importantly, I was dressed in a shirt that resembled a disco ball, which cost me £17.50. And I got bought 40 quid's worth of drinks for the shirt alone.
So basically, you made £22.50 in profit on that shirt.
I made 6 doubles in profit on that shirt.
I do it by money. You do it by alcohol. That's the way we work.
We've all got everything. How about you, buddy? Back to work this week. Going all right.
Oh, sorry. I thought Ed had just popped in. You were talking to him. I was like, what is going on? Is he having a meltdown?
anything for you for the banter segment this week?
Oh, no, I just listened to the banter and then just slag it off, basically. No, all good. Back at work this week.
That's not true. You told me you don't listen to the podcast.
No, I listened to you talking to me.
Get our numbers up. We need the Matthew McConaughey. You've got to pump up those numbers. Those are rookie numbers. That was it. Jesus Christ, how did that take me so long? Thank God.
No, we've had a really good week. So we want to thank all the listeners for listening and all the watchers for watching. We're really pleased with the numbers that we've had this season, and just keep listening, keep watching, because if this allows someone to have a couple of hours escape every single week, we've done our job. Yes.
Someone has also. Oh, sorry, carry on. It was just a nice segue from your list.
I was going to say, back to your last question. Yeah, back at work this week, which is why I'm in a shirt. All going well. It did mean that tonight's podcast running order was written in lightning speed. It was literally get home, watch the show, watch the aftermath, then write the running order whilst also watching the show at half speed. So, fingers crossed. I think we've done a good job on what we're going to talk to Hughie about. And yeah, I'm really excited about it.
We never follow it anyway, because you tend to get me hammered and I get distracted.
Yeah, well, these things happen, George. And I think the segue you were going to do when I said listening is into which favourite segment of mine?
It was. Tell us, which of Emmy's bangers have you been listening to this week? Sorry, Emmy's EPs. That's better, isn't it? Which of Emmy's EPs have you been getting through this week during your not solving a Rubik's Cube in the bath?
So the Emmy EP that I've been listening to this week is called Karma, which I'm sure you can see here on the screen. I've actually listened to it quite a lot. I listened to it while I was lifting the weights the other day.
Oh, nice.
I very much enjoyed it. It's a much slower track than Hannah Montana. Also, still in Romanian. However, this guy decided to look up the translation of the lyrics. So, would you like to hear it, George?
Go on. Give me your top 5 lines.
So my understanding is this is about karma, but what I can't work out is whether it's about the fact that she can't get away from this person, even though she wants them to have karma, or she fucking hates them and the karma is coming back to bite them in the ass, because she says, pour me another glass of your dirty karma. You're the sugar in my bitter chocolate. I'm addicted to the taste of your karma, which makes me think she still wants the karma. But, you know, light me, be my fire one more night. So she still wants one more night with them. Pour me another glass of your dirty karma. Obviously, we repeat a bit of the hook. Yeah, that repeats a bit. Then there's a little bit about pour me a dirty glass, another glass of your dirty rudder, bitter chocolate. It's not a mistake without payment. So I'm not sure what she's getting into there. But what I will say...
Sorry, please give your review first, and then I have some comments about Google Translate.
That's all right. Well, what I will say is I actually really, really like this song. It's a bit slower. It's still got a nice beat. And it's, I wouldn't call it singing, but it's that kind of rapping where it's quite melodic rap, which I quite like. And you can really like hear Emmy's feelings in the song. Although obviously I don't quite understand what the feelings are, whether it is that she wants them to have karma but still wants a dirty piece of them again, or whether she wants their life to be ruined. But yes, another top Emmy track is what I would say this week. Can't wait to listen to another one next week. Haven't picked it yet, but sure it'll be an absolute banger.
That's like she doesn't know what karma means, or your Google Translate is broken.
I'm going to say that Google Translate is broken. There's something about there is a bit that I do like, which harks back to Adam and Eve, which is if it's about us, what if Eve took the apple? We both know that anyway. It doesn't mean you're wrong, that you don't love me, that you don't poison, that you gave me the apple.
Interesting.
Are you as lost as I am?
Yeah, pretty much.
But ultimately,
do you know where I always end up when I'm lost though?
Is it on a certain corner, George?
It is on Redditors Corner.
And what's erected on that corner? Does it happen to be a massive poll?
No, I forgot to do the poll this week, much like you forgot to do the thing. So
I didn't. I actively chose not to sit in a cold bath doing a Rubik's Cube.
So I've got a couple of good shout outs this week. Someone has started doing the Web of Allies, which I think is brilliant. So every week they basically post who is connected, both by partnerships and voting alliances.
Oh, I love that, because that reminds me of like a detective board.
Yeah, exactly. So it's a very, very cool bit of thing, and they've been doing it every week. I suggest you go check it out. One beautiful infographic, and just quite interesting to keep looking at, because obviously not everyone gets screen time every episode, and you just can't get a reminder of what's left out there. So we'll drop it in the bin because it's absolutely brilliant.
You can see that in the middle of us. Just, I think it's on that side of me or that side of me. I don't know if it flips it in the edit. Let's just point both ways, and then we can't be wrong.
So someone with an outstanding screen grab, Reddit user Gwendom. Sorry if I'm mispronouncing that. But basically, it's just got the screen grab of Amber shouting "Fuck Big Brother" and the caption, "The moment she warmed her way into my heart." Really enjoyed that.
Can I touch on something here, because we may not talk about it with Hughie? Do you think the reason that Fessy doesn't like Amber is actually because he's jealous that she was the first Big Brother person to win?
Yeah, I saw a couple of you posting that, and it's definitely a possibility. I do think it's also, when you embarrass yourself in front of someone, and then for a while after you see them, that is always the first thought in your head.
Yeah.
And him losing her is probably quite embarrassing, because he could have won the final with her, and he just doesn't want to be reminded of that. Could also be that.
She's almost the one that got away, and he's still kicking himself, but he's blaming her, because Fessy loves to blame a partner.
He does.
You're trying not to be overly horrible about him, aren't you?
So I've actually we'll talk about this later. Actually, we might not. Fessy isn't irritating me this season. Like, not even close to what he was doing last season, and I don't know why. I am convinced he reads people's reactions to him. I think he's removed the whiny bits of his game, and he's working out a bit better how to embrace the villain thing, and he's doing it, but he's not pissing me off. And I'm really intrigued as to why, and I'm really intrigued as to whether that will carry on. So we might devolve into that next week to see how my self-restraint calms down. And sorry, the final one I screen grab, just because perfectly timed and brilliant episode moment, is just the bit where TJ gets his phone out when he's bored of people
Yes.
arguing, and someone has just captioned it. All of us during this fight. So just phenomenal work from the Reddit this week. Obviously, there's the usual brilliant articles. RIP Grantland's posted his, TJ's bike, friend of the pod, Brian. Oh, they're both friend of the pod. Friend of the pod to the friend, friends of the pod. Yeah,
friends of the pod. Yes,
friends of the pod. TJ's bike and
can I also say
excellent.
RIP Grantland, Alan Aguirre also posted a video which you and me would love because we're biased to the core, which was top British challengers. Guess who was number one? It's only the bloody K-Dog.
Yeah, buddy. Who's number two? I actually didn't respond. I need to go watch this after this.
No spoilers from me, George. But one thing I will say is, I wonder what would have happened if it was UK and Irish challengers, because this week, as I've said, we're doing something a little bit differently. We are lucky to be joined by one of this week's elimination winners and challenge rookie, Hughie. So in this week's special episode of the Challenge Redditors React Podcast, we're going to talk to Hughie about his time on the TV in the UK and Ireland, being cast on the challenge, and also discuss his thoughts and get his, wait for it, reaction to this week's episode. And of course, George, wouldn't be a cast interview on the Redditors React Podcast if we didn't play some games with our guests, games which ultimately lead to you getting drunk. So with that said, George, you pop off, grab a bottle of your cheapest spirit, and let's check in with Ireland's first ever challenger. It's only bloody Hughie. So here we are with challenge rookie, and we can now say this, Mr. 100% elimination record. Hughie, how are you doing?
Oh, 100% elimination record. Who would have thought? I'm good. I'm so stressed out because I've been so busy because I start filming a new program tomorrow. But other than that, I'm really good. And also, this room is really warm at the minute, so I feel like I'm sweating a lot.
It's understandable. You're just nervous to meet two podcasters you've never heard of and have nothing to impress us about.
I know. I'm so nervous to meet both of my podcast celebrity crushes.
And we're clipping that, George. We're clipping that.
I'm going to listen to that. I'm going to listen to that whenever I'm sad. Thank you, Hughie. That made me really happy.
Right.
No, we're really pleased to have you on the podcast, Hughie. Obviously, you and myself, we've been chatting for a while since I found out that you were on the show. I obviously remember you from Big Brother UK. And like the moment I saw that you were on the show, I was like, this guy's going to be entertainment. It's going to be absolutely fantastic. So obviously you were on, I think it was Big Brother 17, wasn't it, in 2016?
Yeah, it's really confusing how they have I think it's because it started in the year 2000, so Big Brother 1 is like 2000, 2001 is Big Brother 2, yeah.
And you were about 21, 22 at the time, and you were part of the House Next Door twist, which kind of got messed up because everyone in the main house realised you were all there.
Yeah, well, it's so we all sort of knew there was 2 houses anyways, because when you build like anywhere in the UK or anywhere in the world with any sort of law, you need planning permission and stuff like that is public knowledge. So it was like public knowledge that they wanted to build. So this was all in the newspapers that Big Brother is going to have a second house. And I mean, it's easy to put a drone in the sky and get photographs of a second house being built. So everybody got in knew there was going to be a second house, but I suppose like anything in life, things are still a surprise because you don't know what it's about, you don't know what it's going to be used for. So I was in like the second house, and we all thought that that was really rubbish. And all of it shows you these reality shows how it messes with people's heads out. Like the ones in the main house thought they were really superior to us, when really they were just the really boring ones that was put in there because, like, if they're going to build a full second house, they're going to want to utilize that house and have as much screen time from both. But we had 6 people and they had 13. So, like, do the maths. So if you're going to have 50-50 like airtime, so that's how it is. It's a bit kind of like on the challenge that people maybe are veterans think they're superior, or we own the house, but no, the show rented it for the filming process.
And what was it that made you decide to go on Big Brother? Because obviously you've done really well out of it. You've been on so many shows in Ireland, you've been on The Challenge. And just tell us a little bit about your experience, because you were robbed. I just want to say that. You came second. You were absolutely robbed. But what was the experience like?
It was like, do you know what it was really like? I can describe it now, and even probably been like living in the challenge house where you're cut off from the real world. And I imagine probably the same for people who's on Love Island or any of these shows. Now that the world has gone through lockdown and you've experienced that, where you're really like, your kind of adult kind of decision making that you're allowed to normally do is taken away from you. Really, that's the feeling that it's like. But you willingly put yourself in that position because, I don't know, of money or the experience, or you might be a big fan of the program. So that's kind of really the general feeling you have constantly, is you're very isolated. You feel like you're on the moon or something. But it is the most incredible experience ever of your life. It was like, for me to be such a huge fan growing up, like I applied for the show. That was my only time I applied. I got on the program, and I'd done it because I grew up, I was a huge fan of the program. And coming from like a gypsy or traveler background, I always felt like there never was anyone that I felt I could relate to in the media. So I could watch these programs and I could always, relate to in the media as in other travelers that maybe known or who I'd seen. But like when I watched these programs, there was so much diversity, people from different walks of life, that I just was always really intrigued by it. So I just ended up being a big fan, and I love popular culture, I love reality shows and all of that. So I just wanted to experience what it was like to be on the other side. I never thought it would bring me any work, because like that was Big Brother's 17th series. Like there was a million programs. Nobody really got any work off the back of Big Brother in the last like 10 years. So I went on and thinking this was like a one-off thing. I'd love it. If I won, I could use the money to create a business or whatever. So that's why I done it. And that was my mind process. But that ended up being really good, I think, because then when I was in there, I then didn't watch everything that I'd done because I was so concerned about something biting me on the arse in the public, like in the long run. So I kind of just told everybody what I thought of them. I argued with everyone. I let some fellas suck me off on TV. I ran around the house naked. I got drunk a lot. I don't know, I had wanks in the bed when everybody was in the bedroom. All of this was on TV. But that ended up being amazing, because then everybody loved Hughie and everybody thought Hughie was really funny. But really, I was just like every other 21-year-old boy who wanks into socks, I don't know, has raging hormones, who gets drunk a lot and shouts a lot and thinks that he needs to have a fight with everyone when he says something to him. But I'm glad I was like that, because without those Big Brother rants, I would never have continued doing TV. And when I look back at the rants, I wish I said more to those people, because I was only telling them the truth. I was never racist. I was never sexist. I don't even know if I even swore, apart from saying maybe fuck this or fuck that. I was never nasty. I just kind of said the truth, but said it really loudly and really drunk. So I don't have any regrets, but it was the most amazing experience. And I loved it. I loved the program. And I was a bigger fan afterwards than I was before.
You've given us a very good segue. It was actually my first ever clip that Levi sent me of you, was your like all-time iconic rant on Big Brother, where you get more polite because you drop the lady's age halfway through the rant because you start calling her 50,
yes, I do.
and then change to 46, which is like, he's really eloquent, can rant for England and Ireland, but he's eventually also just a really nice guy. But there's also that kind of linked into your.
And I don't know what was wrong with me. What were you saying?
It also linked into one of my first thing I remember you saying on the challenge was, I'm also a boxer and a makeup artist. I was like, this guy is going to be TV gold. But have you always been someone who's like, you sound like you've always been someone who's like never shy of sharing their opinions, standing up for yourself. And I think that just links into why you got so much work after. Is that always how you've been?
Yeah, always. I mean, I was always that way on the inside. Like, if you see me as like a 10-year-old, you think I was really introverted and shy. No, it was because I was always kind of, because I was gay and came from kind of a really traditional background, and just in general, I kind of always had these views in me whenever I was being myself. I was always an extrovert, but when I kind of started to suppress that a bit, So I wasn't opinionated. I wasn't really myself. I looked like I didn't really speak when I was a lot younger. But on the inside, I wasn't like that. So when I got older into my like later teens, I started kind of being more myself, standing up for myself. So I was really outspoken then, always opinionated, always kind of, I don't know, looked at the world differently to kind of people around me. And I always kind of just, I don't know, I just always, I was probably that annoying person, but I didn't mean it. Like, you have a view and that person has a view, and I'm kind of in the middle. And I'm like, well, maybe this is actually the way it is, not that way or that way. You're debating about. But I never would mean it in a bad way. I was always just really intrigued, and I've always been an outspoken person, I suppose. Yeah, I've always stood up for what I believed in, and I've always looked at the world, I don't know, in a really strange way according to everybody else. But I think it's normal.
Well, I'm glad you are, because otherwise we'd never have got that all-time iconic line of you calling Ashley Cruella, which had me in absolute hysterics. So thank you for bringing that to our TV screen.
That was a nice way of saying you're a bit of a bitch.
Yeah, and you look like you would wear a puppy.
Yeah, you will kill a dog.
Yeah.
And as I've said before, you were screwed out of winning Big Brother. You ended up finishing runners-up. As I said, should have won it. But as we've talked about, you've had this fantastic TV career in your native Ireland. Since appearing on it, you've been on shows like Dancing with the Stars, First Dates Ireland. And one of the things that all of your appearances on all these shows have in common is that you come out with some absolutely incredible lines and sound bites. So we have this tradition on the Redditors React podcast. Whenever we have a challenger on, we play games. And this game has the imaginative title of Which Show Did Hughie Say This On? So the way that the games work on the podcast is that I'm going to give you the quote, and then you have to guess which TV show it is. Now, if you get it right, George has to drink. And if you get it wrong, George has to drink. Because George has to get drunk on the podcast. That's the rule.
Is this my way of figuring out whether George is a swallower or not?
Yeah, exactly.
Now,
right.
Hughie, I'm not going to do this in the accent because I don't want to offend you. So here we go.
No, you can. Yeah, that's another good thing about me is I'm really not easy to offend. Like I'm so inappropriate, it's ridiculous.
Well, considering I'm about to get me hammered, we're going to test that throughout the pod. Right.
Okay, here we go. George, get the alcohol ready. Hughie, on which show did you say the following? And we're starting easy. I'm actually more nervous doing the group dance than the main show dance, which doesn't actually make sense because the other one's more important.
Well, obviously Dance with the Stars.
There we go. Let's get a quick drink inside George. Does he swallow it? Swallowed it very quickly there, Hughie.
Oh, good man.
Okay, here we go. The next one. That bitch started with me and I fucking destroyed her in about 2 fucking seconds because she's fuck all. I will train all of these how to argue. I will train every person in these 2 houses how to fucking argue.
Big Brother, of course. That's the famous
one.
That's on TikTok. It's everywhere.
Okay, this one's going to be harder, I hope. So you were talking about, you got asked a question, which was why were you not in a guy partnership on Dancing with the Stars? And this was your answer. It's like a bullfighter having 2 men and no bull. You're missing a key component in the design.
I was on the Late Late Show in Ireland.
You were on the Late Late Show in Ireland. Well done.
In my red glittery blazer.
Yes, it was. Can I just quickly ask, on your appearance on Dancing with the Stars, what happened with the tan?
So what happened with the tan was, I was quite young and very badly looked after, let's say. So I decided, do you know what? This is week 2. I just want to stand out a little bit. So my PR loving popular culture head came on. Like, what did Paris Hilton do once upon a time? What made everybody talk about, I don't know, Jordan years ago? So I said, but why don't you just do a few things that people kind of will look at and go, oh. So I decided to have a really bad fake tan. I never ever realized it was going to be as bad. So I got a spray tan from the show. I then done my own tan the night before. Then when we were there, we were doing dress rehearsal all day. So I started to sweat. And I had patches, so I looked like a Dalmatian. Ashley would have kidnapped me.
Well done. Well done.
And I ran into the back room. There was like a 2-minute gap between dress rehearsal and going live. So we're all having to go up the stairs to be, I don't know, introduced. Dun, 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 dun. And the makeup room is in the back. And I ran in and I picked up this foundation and I went like this all over my face, like just really quick. But the reason why I picked up that one is I recognized it from when we filmed the TV ad like 3 months before. Now, the same company used to make Voice of Ireland, and Jamelia, who's obviously black, was a judge. And I remember the lady, Lisa, who was a makeup artist, saying, oh, this is what I used to use on Jamelia. And I remembered the foundation. So because my tan was so like deep and patchy, like I just grabbed the darkest foundation and went like this onto my face because I thought it would be the only thing to even it out. Then we went out and we had to do some pre-recorded dances. And once that was going on, the tan underneath kept on developing and developing and developing and developing. And there was no mirror to look in. So I never knew it was so bad. Never knew. We came off air. My ex-boyfriend sent me a million screenshots. I couldn't even watch it because he was in the UK. So he didn't even watch this. He just obviously seen it going crazy on Twitter as the show was live. And he sends me all these screenshots of like a million newspaper articles like trending on Twitter with thousands of comments. And then I was like, what the fuck have I done to my face? But that went so bad. After that, I was accused of racism and everything. And I didn't even know what blackface even was. I was like, shut the fuck up. I mean, I was a 22-year-old. I was trying to just be a bit funny. I never even knew it was that bad. And I just think it was so funny because I think it's so iconic. You look at that and you look at my Big Brother rants and they're so remembered. Like I asked them about them in every single interview and they've kept me in the media and they've kept me on TV. That's like, I don't know, Jodie Marsh's belt outfit moment. That's my moment.
And do you know what I love? Nikki Byrne gave you so much stick live on air and you were so good about it. You took it so well.
Yeah. I remember he turned around and he said to me that in the leaderboard of like the guys, I was in the bottom. So he turned around and said, how do you feel about that? And I said, oh, because he was irritating me because they were making all these hints towards me because Ireland's quite reserved. And because of the tan, they were obviously getting annoyed with everyone, but they had to continue the show. And he said, oh, how do you feel if you were being the bottom of the leaderboard? And I said, oh, don't worry, Nikki, I'm comfortable being the bottom tonight. And then all of the producers behind the scenes, their faces like because I was deliberately now trying to annoy them, which was really bad when I think back. But I was younger and stupid, and they were probably scared of, I don't know, this causing an issue, which it ultimately did.
But you know what I love? On every show that you've been on, you've been unapologetically you, including this show where you said, you've got very nice hair, but I'm not flirting, by the way. I don't like girls.
That was on first dates. I said it to the girl behind me, and I said she looked like Debbie Harry, and she didn't know who Debbie Harry was, so I had to then explain and interrupt all her date.
Yeah, so that's a drink for George, and just because
he's much better at this quiz than Devon.
And just because I want George to have one more drink, George, you've ruined it for yourself because the next one is Jesus Christ, Cruella.
The challenge.
Yes. Also, by the way, if anyone ever plays this game, I highly recommend salted caramel vodka. That was an absolute treat.
Is it good? Is it good?
Absolutely delicious. We'll get you a bottle as a thank you. Highly recommend. Oh, I can't see.
Let's see if George can slur his way through the next question, Hughie.
Right. So when we saw the cast list and you were on it, we realised that you were the first ever Irish challenger, which, by the way, is a massive travesty because the Irish are brilliant in every aspect of life. But how did it feel to be chosen as like the first person to represent your country? And did you have any idea about what show you had signed up to before you went on it?
Right. So first of all, to say about the show, I did know what the challenge was, but I'd never watched it. And I had only seen clips on Twitter of UK people who I knew of or did know or only knew from like X on the Beach and shows like that. And then 2 years ago, I went to Turkey to have my teeth done. And
Great.
They look lovely, by the way.
At the same time.
Nice.
Thank you. Zahida happened to be there at the same time. And we ended up hanging out because she kind of knew of my ex-boyfriend who was with me. And she was telling us she's just come back from this show, the challenge. I was like, oh yeah, I've heard about it. And she told me some stories about it. So other than that, that's all I ever knew about the challenge. So that's all I ever knew. And how does it feel being the first Irish person? It's like, I think like, why am I the first Irish person? Like, do we not have any Irish people to go to shows? But I mean, we don't have a lot of reality TV in Ireland, so maybe so. But so I'm really proud to be like our first Irish person. And somebody told me I'm the 8th ever gay man or LGBT person. So there's not been a lot of that either, apparently.
That's really good.
That's fantastic. And I'm sure I'm going to be the first ever Irish traveller on the show also. I must be.
Oh, 100%. Well, if you're first Irish person, you have to be the first Irish traveller on there.
Yeah, but you could be an Irish traveller from England. Like, you could
that makes sense.
background. Like, you come from a gypsy background. I don't know. Maybe they've got a Spanish gypsy person. I don't know.
But
I think
also,
that back.
I was going to say, going back to what you said about kind of the 8th LGBT person on it, I don't think that they've had a gay male on the show since War of the Worlds 2 with Sean, which I think was about 3 seasons ago.
Yeah. And he left like in episode 1, didn't he? He was like first eliminated. He was like targeted as like the new guy.
He's got an opposite record to you, Hughie. You're 1-0. He's 0-1.
And actually, that's 4 seasons ago because he joined on Big T's first season.
Yes.
So she's on her 4th.
Yes, you are right.
So we need to have loads of more gay men. I told the producers, if I get to come back, bring loads of gay boys. Bring loads of gay boys for Hughie, because I was bored and I was really, really, really jealous of everybody else. Like, every show I've ever been on, I've had a guy on every show. If I go to fucking Gay Pride, I find a boy for the night. I've always got a guy when I go to places. So, like,
if you go to a
I
beat for
needed
Hughie,
somebody in the house. I was so jealous. I felt so insecure. I was like, why have I not found? Why is nobody not fancying me? I was like, because we're all straight.
I don't know. There's a bit in the episode where you get quite friendly with another challenger. I reckon you can turn the best of them. I'm wavering. And I'm drunk.
Those dance moves on Emmanuel. Those dance moves on Emmanuel.
Oh, I remember that day. Nobody didn't include when I was twerking on Anissa on that day. I'm so irritated. All my little moments isn't getting used.
But the thing is, Hughie, you say that there was no one for you, but there was some blossoming love for Hughie on the challenge. Or should we say love-hate? Because it was a marriage of sorts. You and Ashley, hashtag #AshHughie, which George says I'm not allowed to use. One of our favourite odd couples on the show. Tell us a little bit about what Ashley was like to work with as a partner and about your relationship.
Right, so it's very like husband, wife, brother, sister, I don't know, enemies / I don't know, wanting to kill each other type of partnership. She was like my biggest supporter, but my biggest critique. But I get why she was like that. And she's very, very stubborn, has no patience, and you need to have patience with somebody like me because I get quite an iron. I don't click onto stuff quickly. And I've kind of figured out I am smart, but I'm smart in my own way. Like, some of these people are so intelligent, like they can read situations, and I am completely oblivious to what they're even. Like, I'm like, how did you figure that out? Like, this does not make sense. Like, she is genuine, or he is nice. No, Hughie, you're very naive. Shut up. So I get why she was frustrated with me, but at the same time, I just feel like sometimes maybe she could have a bit more patience and a bit more understanding. And when she's giving me shit about not liking being on that rig up really high, why the fuck did she not go on it then if she's not there you go. So she was my best friend in the house. We still speak now. And 2 days ago, when I was really smashed at like 7 o'clock in the morning at Manchester Gay Pride, she was in Hawaii and we was FaceTiming. And I was saying, I can't wait for this episode to come out for my elimination or whatever. And she was so excited.
Oh, that's so sweet. And do you know what we love about you as well? You're so like self-aware of who you are and you're not apologetic about it. And I think that's how people need to be.
Yeah, of course. I think the older I get, like my last relationship, if I'm completely honest, without sounding critical. I was constantly kind of meant to feel like I had to always change all the time. And I couldn't be myself and stuff. And it's weird because I was so unapologetic for like so many years, and I became somebody that was always trying to change myself for somebody. And I'm like, since I'm out of that relationship more than ever, I'm like, I'm completely myself. I'm like, just be you, and you'll find the right people that like you. You'll find the right friends that like you, and you'll find somebody that likes you for that. So just be yourself. And when I was in the challenge house, there was a few moments when there was like, oh, well, maybe stay a bit quieter, Hughie, because this is irritating people. I'm not getting it. But then 5 minutes later, I couldn't be bothered, and I'd ask as many questions as I want. We'd be in deliberation, and I'd keep interrupting people and keep on talking. Whether people made sense of it or not, I don't care. And I wanted to say my piece. And if you don't like it, that's up to you.
Never change, Hughie.
I was going to say, on behalf of the challenge fans, please don't change, because what you bring has been missing the last few seasons, because it's just, you're kind of like chucking a firecracker into a room full of small, scared children, and it makes me laugh every time it happens. But I think what we saw was Ashley also wasn't the only challenger that you formed a strong relationship, and this is me jumping ahead, but that little bit of shit chat to Corey in the animation, you're just jealous because I've got a few friends, really, really made me laugh. But you do seem that the rest of the cast also really, really enjoyed having you there. So another game we like to play with our guests is a good old-fashioned game of word association. So if we give you a challenger's name, will you just give us the first word or the first thing that pops to mind? Because I reckon this will be gold.
Okay, so let's start with the first one. George's favourite, Fessy.
Oh, sexy.
Why would you?
Sexy. Arabian, I don't know, Middle Eastern prince, sit on my face now.
This is going to be the best.
I think.
This is going to be the best iteration of this game ever. Amber, your elimination winning partner, Amber.
Oh, on it, Barbie. Beautiful, like a black mixed race, beautiful Barbie. So beautiful.
Our favourite challenger, because we feel like he was the one that really brought the UK to the challenge. We're very biased about him on this podcast. The K-Dog, Kyle.
Hilarious. Witty. I think witty. Let me say witty.
I like that. Nice.
Someone who I'm actually starting to grow on me. Josh. For the listeners, Hughie is thinking.
Josh. I don't know what word to use. Passionate.
Passionate. That's a good word. What about Kyle's best friend, Devin?
How do I say really extremely intelligent in one word?
Genius.
We'll let you have the two if you want.
George. He's Steve Jobs.
That's a bit of an upgrade on George. We'll go with that.
Mark Zuckerberg.
I love this person. Amanda.
Oh, like my sister. I love Amanda.
Ooh.
She's like my supporter. She's so there for me.
When you just turned just then and looked down, I thought you were going to pick up like a framed photo of Amanda that she sent you.
No, but I can write something on the board.
Right. I love Amanda.
From the aftermath. They send us these for the aftermath.
You'd think they'd
Amanda.
at least give you something branded.
No, I really hope just by the end of the pod it's a massive knob.
How do I spell psychopath?
P-S-Y.
C-H-O-P-A-T-H.
Levi, we do well.
Yeah, this is what I think of Amanda.
Yeah.
But Hughie, let's just say you mean that with love, don't you?
I mean that with so much love. So much love.
It's also, if you look at my Tinder bio, it's what I'm after, so that works out well.
And speaking of people that we're slightly biased on, Big T.
Oh,
Oh,
cute.
uh,
But can I say British? Because she sounds like the Queen. British.
Oh,
she really does. I can't wait till she's on the next season of The Crown. And last but not least, that would actually be great. Nanny.
Nani. Gosh, Nani.
I love how you say her name.
Yeah, you went really British there. That was like, was that a Big T impression?
But Nani. See, if you say Nanny, then it's like you're giving her, it's a job title.
Yeah.
Nani, her name's not Nani. Her real name is Noemi. And the weirdest thing is like, I was there like one day, and this is how, when I say to you, I'm really interested in people, and I always ask questions and stuff, and I'm always intrigued about life. And I don't know, my brain works different to others. I met her, and within like an hour, I said, is your real name Nani? And she said, no, my name is Noemi. Everyone had been on the challenge with her for like 10 seasons, did not know that. And they were like, what's your name? I swear my whole family's name. And she turned around and she said, did you not know that? Yeah, that's my real name. And I was like, why did you not ask her that as soon as you met her? Or am I just somebody that does those types of things? So what do I think of Nani? Nani is lovely. She's just such a sweet, nice girl. And she was always so supportive of me. And now she's my partner. Yeah, I can say that.
You can, yes.
She turned out to be a great partner for me. But I'm gonna get spoiled.
Don't risk it, Hughie. Don't risk it.
Yeah, Nani's a great partner, and I can't wait for what you, this episode, and then the next episode after that. I'll shut up, Hughie.
What Hughie's saying is he's glad he picked Nani in this episode, and everyone needs to watch to see what happens.
I can't wait till we hear what Disney character you call her. Quiet, shut up, Rapunzel.
No, she could be like my Pocahontas because she's from
that's fair.
background.
Oh, now we were very, very lucky, Hughie, to have you on this week, because I like to call this episode of the challenge the Hughie-centric episode of the challenge. I finished watching it just a couple of hours ago, and I'm very excited to talk to you about it. So this is the moment where we react to this episode, and we're very lucky to have you because we're now able to ask you questions about things that happen on the show through your eyes, through a challenger's eyes. So let's start with this Vets Alliance thing. Why couldn't the rookies get their shit together and get on the same page and create their own alliance? What happened?
Well, first of all, everyone, including the vets, goes into that game for themselves. So the Vet Alliance, although it's like we're all together, they're all doing it for themselves, and they're all happy to have like an alliance because they want to protect themselves, not anybody else. It's themselves. So when the rookies come into the game, you're completely cut off in the real world like you are in all of these shows. So you're already paranoid out of your brain anyways, and you have no distractions, and you're so invested in this game. And this is why people think people are being dramatic. You're just so invested in what you, like nothing else exists but what you're doing when you're on these shows. It's so weird.
But also you're playing for $1 million.
Yeah, but I don't think...
Of course you're invested.
Well, not somebody like me, I don't always exactly think of it. Like I didn't think about that in Big Brother always. And like, that's so... I think people only really remember that. Well, some people, maybe when they get to the final and it feels very in reach. I don't know. I just think that the rookies were like listening to their vets who kind of have experience, whether they were truly looking out for them or they were just telling them this so they go along for this alliance voting system. And they were just trying to protect themselves. You look at Michaela, episode 1. She tried to round some people up. Look what happened to her. So you could stand up in the middle of the room and you could try to be the big bad hero and like, oh, this isn't correct. But if everything that was supposed to happen on any of these shows across the entire world and whatever was meant to be fair happened, all of these results would be completely different. You look at some of these shows and people win them and you're like, how did they ever win that show? This person was more deserving. So it's not even about what's fair. It's about getting from one stage to the other. And I just think the rookies didn't know one another. You didn't know who you could trust. Look at Emmy. Look what Emmy done to Michaela. Yeah. Emmy went and told Anissa and Tori. So like, and people have watched previous seasons, so they know that people will do that. So, and to be really honest, I might have gone and told Ashley stuff thinking like that would really keep me in their, circle because they had the power. So we were just looking out for ourselves. But the weirdest thing is that, and I just thought of it today, is everybody keeps saying, why was these rookies not standing together? Corey Lays all over Twitter saying I was trying to get everybody together. Corey didn't try to keep me in the show. I tried to keep him in the show because I promised I wouldn't vote for him. All of the girls that stayed in my room, which was Tatcha, Berna, Priscilla, and Esther, and me, were all rookies. We promised each other day one we wouldn't vote for each other. I kept that promise, not everybody else did, because Esther voted for me. So I did make promises with other rookies, Michelle, Corey, Tatcha, Berna, and Esther, and Priscilla. I made promises with all of them, and I never, ever broke those promises, ever did. But those other rookies obviously didn't. So I actually did try to have some sort of loyalties with people within the house. But as I said, not everybody wanted to do that, and they thought of themselves. So I just tried to play a smart game, listen to my partner, stay on the good side of I needed to stay on the good side of, and then just get on with my time in the house. So I think that's what a lot of people was doing. And I don't blame anybody for doing that. And Corey and Michelle and everybody else that's complaining about it were just upset that they weren't in the position to do the same thing. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
100%, yeah.
You're loyal as well. And also you won, so it's completely fine. The spoils go to the victor. But we had a really, really lovely moment between you and another vet who we've not mentioned yet, and I'm slightly jealous of you getting to go to the gym with CT. God, that man's calves are amazing. You really showed in the scene, though, that not only are you really entertaining, that you're here to compete, you've got some ability behind you as well. And CT even called out that you've got heart and you're really underrated. From someone who a lot of people argue is the GOAT, or is obviously really well respected, what does it mean to have CT say that about you?
Oh, that's so lovely. I've seen so many comments about it on Twitter as well. In the house, they've only showed us workout once. I hope they show us again. But he used to get me to work out with him all the time. He would really come and say to me, do you want to come work out with me? Because I used to I was a bit, I told him one day we were smoking, do we have a separate smoking area they don't really show on TV? And I was like, I feel really intimidated being around some of the guys and stuff. And everyone has this big, personality to take it so serious. And I'm I'm here to make good TV. I don't think I'm going to win the show. I'm not counting myself out. I'm just kind of calling a spade a spade. So I'm just going to do what I have to do here. So he used to say, he used to take me away on my own, work out with me so that I wouldn't feel I don't know, just feel really strange because it wasn't really my thing. And he was so good to me. He was so supportive. And that meant a lot to me. I remember when I came home, I was telling my mum and dad that. And he was so lovely to me. So I can't say one bad word about CT. He's the nicest guy ever. And he told me all his stories and his personal life, and he's such a nice guy.
Yeah, he's been through a lot in his life, and he's, as challenge fans, we've seen him change so much over the years, and it's so nice to see the person he is now. And also,
he's just still incredible.
And he's still such a fantastic competitor.
He's
current
he won
reigning champ.
The season with Amber last season. And you need to wait, obviously, to see what happens this season. But he's a beast. You know what I mean? And it comes down to what age is CT? He's 40 years old. I know that's not old, but there's 25-year-olds that could be bloody beasts, and more than likely you think they would win. So he's incredible, and I'd love to be as strong as him. So maybe I need to get loads of that heart more and go into the gym and get to that place. I don't know. But he's incredible. He's so strong and he's amazing.
No, I'm all for a Hughie and CT ally season where you two just take the entire house by storm as a team. That'd be fucking brilliant.
I don't have. I'm too free-mounted maybe for somebody to just be an ally with me. And also, as he said, Hughie has the attention span of a 5-year-old. So it's great for reality TV, but not the competition side. I speak too much and I say too much and I say what's on my mind and I reveal my secrets. So I'm great for the viewers maybe, but not within the house.
And I think when it comes to that competition side, we can't have you on and not talk about this week's mission. So Undercover Comms, it was called. Last week, we saw a little bit of that Fear of Heights where you threw up and then kissed Ashley, which we're still not sure about. But you really
I thought it was hot.
But
I need to watch that properly. I didn't get to see it all.
You really pulled through though last week, and like you absolutely beasted it. You had an excellent showing. You beat Ashley. She might have still been, struggling with the sick that had gone in her mouth. But what was it about this week's mission which caused you to freeze and not be able to overcome things like last week?
It was the staying up there part. As I said on Aftermath, so I jumped over the cliff, which like to say was higher than the rig. It was higher up, which I don't believe. I think they're lying about the height of these things because it was absolutely ridiculous how high it looked when you're up there. It's kind of like when you get on a ladder, or is it just me? It seems higher up than when you just look at the ladder. I don't know, or is that just me? I don't know, but it was just it was horrible. It has got to be. That is the scariest moment of my entire life. And I've been on like 300-foot roller coasters, and I'm not scared of them. It's the hanging there. It was just like a rope. There was a part of the rope that was sellotaped together, and I was like, "What's that?" And I'm like, it was horrific. I just wanted down, and I was saying, "Did you see the part?" Even I had to laugh myself when I looked at that. I was like, everyone was getting dropped down, and they're all like arguing about the people dropping them down. And I was like, why am I still up here? Like, I wanted to just get out of that whole challenge. So it was like the hardest challenge. But I feel really bad looking back now because I didn't really help Ashley really much in it. But then again, she didn't really help me. She should have gone up there.
Yeah. I'm just shocked to hear that you had a problem staying up there. I never thought that would be any of your problem is staying up. But obviously,
George, bringing the tone down. We've got a classy guest like Hughie, and you come with this filth.
He started it with the swallowing joke. I just give as good as I get.
I wanted it to stay up in me. I wanted to fall down on it. That was what the problem was.
I'm never going to win any of these rounds. I might as well win it. But when you were staying up there, how long were you actually up there? And honestly, was it a complete relief, or were you just scared shitless when you fell and crashed into the water?
Easily, each heat lasted maybe 40 minutes.
Jesus.
And I didn't fall till the end, as you've seen. So I was there for like 40 minutes, which felt like an eternity. And like the wind is blowing on you. And oh my God, it was horrific. It was horrific. And like, you can hear all the creaks on the rig, like above you, and all like the camera guys and everyone who's running around on the top part of the rig to film like down below and also to release you when you're falling. I'm sure I can tell you these things. Like, this is not revealing nothing but a show.
Yeah, it's fine.
I could see some of them in shot above the above the rig.
So when they're there, it's almost like sheets of timber they're walking on. So they're so loud, they're slamming on it. I just kept thinking at any moment, something's capsized. I'm dying here. Like I said, they completely lied to me about how high I was up. Ashley lied to me for one. She told me I was going to be on top of the rig because, as I said, I can't understand things properly, so I have to have it explained loads of times. And when you're doing the show, you don't hear TJ as clearly as you do on watching it, if you know what I mean. So I couldn't really hear properly, so I got Ashley to explain. And her and Corey W told me that I'd be on top of the rig, and then to be like this thing where you get released down. It's just like jumping off like you were on the cliff. And that's how I took it up. And she was like, you're already 6 foot high, Hughie. So like, you're already taking 6 feet off. So it's only 24 feet. It's not even high. And I completely believed her until I was up there. And before we went up, the health and safety team said, guys, when you're up there, you can't come down like you can on other challenges. The only way to get down is how you leave the challenge. So, it was horrific. But it was... I'm glad I'd done it. I'm glad I went up there and I didn't quit. Like, I didn't quit as in not do it. And when I was up there, I sort of quit. But, I mean, I still tried to move myself around. I just wasn't strong enough for my arms. I was too heavy. It was horrible.
But you still came second in Heat 1. But in Heat 2, the big talking point was the moment that Kyle put his kill rod into Devon's hole. And apparently that wasn't Devon's plan. Devon did not want Kyle's rod in his hole.
No,
Now, as someone who was there, let's get it through the eyes of a challenger. What happened? What was the reaction like? And did you, Hughie, at that moment, think that this would be the end of Dyle?
No. I didn't think it was planned or it was fake, like a lot of people are suggesting. I don't think it was at all. I just don't think that either was understanding the other one's opinion. I think Devon was ultimately correct, because I remember when I seen Emmy fall, and I was like, Emmy was doing really, really good. And I couldn't understand why Kyle got rid of her, because like Emmy would listen to Devon. It was about like not having rookie people win or whatever. So why did he do that? And Kyle ultimately admitted it because he thought he could win and he wanted to win. Which is okay. So I knew it would be the end of a bloody friendship. And I think a lot of rookies around was so happy to see it happen, if I'm really honest, because they thought this might cause enough friction that it could change the house vote, which has happened a few times. And it happens, some stuff like that happens again soon, major stuff. So you need to see in the next episodes, like major things happen. So it's like so everybody thinks the house vote is going a certain way, but something can just happen. So like everybody was pleased that this happened with Kyle and Devon, so that maybe
because they thought it would save their own
and
back.
Amanda can get voted in, because Amanda also had some arguments with some people that kind of wasn't aired or whatever. So
Amanda had arguments. No,
I'm shocked.
And I love Amanda. I love how fiery she is. She's hilarious in Deliberation, man. She just screams out of nowhere. She's like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" So I think a lot of people was pleased to see it, but I didn't think it would cause them any problems, and I didn't want them to argue because I love both of them.
I really hope Devon ends up being Kyle's kid's grandfather. That will make me so happy.
I hope you mean godfather.
Godfather, not grandfather. Fuck.
He's not Kyle's dad.
And it's not that old.
Yeah, plot twist. So Esther and Fessy win the mission. You'll head to the club and accompanied by the epic tunes of the Backstreet Boys. Levi wrote this question. He actually wrote that in the running order. Were you aware of the conversation that Coriel had with Fessy about asking Fessy to send you in? The lying little snake.
That night, Corey spoke to me so much. And Michelle was with me the entire night. The whole night, Michelle was with me that night. And I remember I was speaking to her about like, coming from Jersey, because I love Jersey Shore, and about her sister. Like I was with Michelle. This is why I was also so upset. I was getting paranoid the next day when I knew what happened. I was like, oh, she was keeping me there so Corey could like talk to Fessy, and I was thinking of all of this. So I was completely oblivious to any of that. And I just feel like that was disgusting. But I mean, we argued and we've had it out. But that was just vile. I feel like that's probably the worst thing that's happened so far this season, in my opinion, because it was just so sneaky.
Yeah, I think it was sneaky, but it was also like there was no need for it. Do you know what I mean? It was just like really disrespectful to you. There was like no need for it. It was really disrespectful to you.
Yeah, it wasn't. It was done. It was done in a very dismissive way, and it was also similar to how you were in Deliberation. Like what you also didn't see on camera was when we were in Deliberation and Michelle was speaking. I was sat this side and Michelle was that side, so I was looking directly at her and Corey. Everyone that was standing and sitting next to Michelle and Corey, like Anissa, Logan, everybody that was there was all staring at me and smiling and nodding their heads as Michelle was speaking. So everyone knew it was being directed towards me, and I was being called weak and like all of these things. So it was very disrespectful. But I just think Corey is an extremely ambitious person. Michelle is a ruthless competitor. So they'll do anything to get to where they want to go. I don't think I mean it personally, but it kind of becomes personal when you make certain comments about people. You call people certain names and you do stuff in a very sneaky way, because what you also didn't see on TV was in the last episode, before Tatcha and Berna went into elimination, I had spoken to Ashley, Nani, Amanda, and everyone. This was all on camera, Tori and Anissa, and said, instead of voting in as a house vote, Michelle and Corey, can we have it as Touch and Jeremiah? Because I feel really uncomfortable. Ultimately, in the end, I still didn't vote for Touch and Jeremiah. As I said, I voted for me and Ashley because I promised Touch also. But I also then went to Corey again on camera and said, like, don't be stressing out. Like, I think everybody's not going to vote you guys in. And because I felt really uncomfortable because we promised each other as like gay guys we would support each other. Then he went to the club the next episode and done what he done. So it's like it's all of those things that haven't all been shown on TV, which is why I was so angry and so hurt. But that's what makes it so snaky when he done what he done.
I think what we were originally hoping as well that we might see a little bit of a Hughie rant here, or as Levi has decided to call it, Hughie's harangues, which Levi assures me
it's a synonym for rant. I love alliteration.
So we wanted to interject with another game where we give you a scenario and you rant about it as if it has happened, just in case we don't get a Hughie rant that makes it to air throughout the season. Is that all right?
So, yeah, and we want that Big Brother TikTok famous level of rant.
Yeah. So we're just gonna start you up like an old lawnmower. And nice. So first scenario, you can't find your lucky grey tracksuit bottoms, and you find out that CT has stolen them because he wants to remember your workouts.
Where the fuck is my grey tracksuit? CT, the fucking pervert, has stole my fucking clothes!
Okay, so you have spent ages cooking an amazing meal, Hughie. You are so hungry. You've cooked this amazing meal. It's taken you 2 hours. And you go to the toilet. Gabbo comes back from his 17th workout of the day, and he eats all of your food while you're having a wee. And you come out the toilet, and you see it.
Oh, my God. I am fucking starving, and Gabbo's eating my fucking food. Why did he do that? He should have eaten my ass and not my food.
Okay. Finally, because I don't know if you can top that one, but I'm hoping you can. You're trying to tell a really emotional story about your life. You're sitting in the living room, all the challenges are there. They're all transfixed, but suddenly all you can hear is Bettina's laugh.
Yeah, the one where it sounds like a bloody, I don't know, a seal is giving birth.
Yeah, that's the one.
No, like you're trying to stick, I don't know, a 20-inch dildo up, I don't know, a mouse as a bum hole.
Yeah. Also, not a weekend activity I would recommend.
Why the fuck is that stupid bitch with that stupid annoying laugh interrupting my fucking emotional speech? I'm trying to speak about my feelings, and all I can hear is her stupid laugh.
Oh, we love a Hughie rant.
Oh my God.
What we also love, Hughie, is a Hughie bombshell. And you dropped a bombshell this week when you revealed that you voted for yourself last week in elimination. And also, you did it this week as well, I saw on the Challenge Aftermath.
Yeah, I did, even after Michelle and Corey was two little snakes in deliberation, I still didn't vote for them.
Because you stuck to your word. You said you'd never vote in Corey, and you didn't. But what was your reasoning for revealing this? And we saw an emotional scene with you and Ashley afterwards. How much did this affect your relationship with Ashley once you told her?
Right, so why I done it is, first of all, when I was in there, as I said, the whole room was looking at me, and I felt extremely cornered. I actually felt very, very embarrassed. I felt like I was really, made to feel like I was so, stupid and so, weak and so, nothing. I was like, why are you directing this towards me? I've never been horrible to you. Little do you even know, I didn't even vote for you last time when my partner, told me to. And I voted for myself, and I haven't voted for anyone because I'm such a man of my word. So why are you going against me now? That's why I said that. I didn't even see it as a bombshell. I don't know why everybody was so shocked by it, because how it didn't affect anyone. It didn't even affect me. Of course, if me and Ashley was on the chopping block, I'm not stupid. I'm going to vote for anyone but us. And I'm going to speak up, and I'm going to diss that the next. But what did I actually do wrong? Even Ashley, I don't even know why Ashley was upset about it. It's like, I didn't vote for us and cause us any issues. I didn't break your trust. And the reason why I didn't tell Ashley was because I knew there was a possibility she might kick off about it. And I didn't feel
Ashley
like
kicking off. No.
No, I didn't feel like I needed.
Skin you like a Dalmatian.
Like it was anything that could cause an issue. Like that. Me voting for me and Ashley both of those times never caused an issue for none of us in that house. So like that's why I done it. I tried to like think, well, I'll vote for myself because I don't want to vote for Tatcha, don't want to vote for Corey and Michelle, don't want to vote for Jeremiah, like I heard him and Tatcha was together. Vote for me and Ashley because like nobody's voting for us. So why not just do that? Keep my hands clean and keep my conscience clean. I don't even see it as a bombshell, but everybody else obviously does. And they're calling it a burn vote, whatever. And like I got really emotional because from deliberation to the point where I spoke to Ashley, there was probably about an hour. And in that hour, I was really worked up from what had happened with Corey, Michelle, and everything else. And I was walking upstairs and I could hear you speaking in the bedroom. And I just stormed right in. They were filming and whatever, and I didn't care. I just walked straight past the cameraman and sat down. And I said, "Can I speak to you?" And she was kind of being really off at me, and I didn't get it. And I was just really emotional. And like, you'd been there for weeks filming, and like your brain is in a different place. And I just started crying. I felt like I was going to either start shouting or I was going to start crying. So I just started crying and I tried to explain my case. And I think that was like the beginning of the end with us. I was like, we need to start working together now. And I also kind of felt like I want to just let Ashley kind of, I don't know, go have a different kind of partner now, sort of thing. So that's
set her free.
Yeah, set her free and let's see how she gets along. Watch this space, guys.
So after that, though, it becomes we come to Valère, and you're voted in by Fessy and Esther. You already said you were in quite an emotional state. How did you feel at the moment you knew you were going down, especially when you didn't know who you were, going down with?
I was by then I was a bit angry and I was ready to prove a point and I was ready to think, no, but I don't give a fuck. Just let's do whatever's going to happen. Look, I was so over everything. It was like, if I go home, at least I'm out of this environment and feeling. And if I stay, I'm proving every point that I want to prove. And like there wasn't a going home thing in my head, but I was trying to be positive. Like if I do, this is how, like try to take the good of it. So in that moment when they chose me, I wasn't exactly blindsided because I had a feeling. But again, what they didn't show on camera was me speaking to Fessy just before we left the house. And it sort of half insinuated to me he wasn't choosing me. So, yeah, so there you go. So, but I wasn't that shocked. I was more shocked with Esther, though, because we'd promised each other we would never do that. But what Esther let me know afterwards was when her and Fessy went their first mission when Kells went in, Fessy wanted to put me in that time because Kells had also asked. So what nobody knows is that nearly almost every elimination so far, every guy had asked the agency to choose me as the guy to go in, but this hasn't all been shown on TV. So I didn't have an easy ride at all. I was always hearing these things and it just didn't happen until now. You know what I mean?
So, yeah, well, lucky for them.
Yeah.
I think I've done really good on all of the eliminations so far. I think I've done really good.
And I think it's interesting you say that thing about Fessy saying that he wasn't going to send you in and then going back on his word, because another theme of this episode was the implosion of the Big Brother alliance due to Fessy not trusting Amber B. We've spoken to Amber B on the podcast before. She's absolutely lovely. I don't know why Fessy's got this problem with her. Yeah. My theory is that he's jealous that she is the first Big Brother person to win the challenge. That's my only theory I can think of. But did anyone know Fessy was going to vote her in? Because it just set off this Josh-shaped bomb. And what was it like when Josh actually exploded?
Well, I'm not scared when he explodes because I might be scared of jumping off cliffs, but I'm not scared of anybody in a confrontation. As I said,
we've seen you in a confrontation. We know you're not scared.
Yeah.
It's where you thrive.
Yeah, I'm not popular. That's where I do really well, actually. That's where all of my fame and TV work comes from. So you're in my lair when you shout at me. But I feel like so many people didn't know. I didn't have any clue at all it was going to be her. I was really pleased when it was. And maybe they are all jealous that she's won the challenge once and they haven't. And in fact, majority of the people on this season have never won the challenge. Who
I
else
think
won
it's
it?
just
CT?
Amber, CT, and Ashley are the only champions on this season.
That's all. So like you've all done like 10 seasons each, and you all call like other people weak, but you've never actually won. And like Josh has only ever won one elimination, I think, in his whole entire challenge career. So like here we go. And like I don't know.
Mic drop.
But I outswam some of them on that cliff diving challenge. So here we go. But so Josh arguing that didn't scare me at all. I feel like more people knew Amber was possibly going in. Like I don't know why Josh was arguing, because Fessy had multiple conversations with him about it, but he acted like he was so shocked. He also when he was shouting at Fessy, I don't know if it made the edit, said, you've chosen Hughie and Amber. I don't know why you've chosen either of them. Nobody wanted those to be chosen. He also said it like on his like interview part. He was like saying Hughie and Amber is so upset about being blindsided. But do you not remember the conversations earlier in the episode when Fessy was saying Hughie's going to be the guy we think, and we're thinking maybe to put in Amber. So Josh knew about both of us all the time, but didn't tell any of us.
I feel with Josh is he wants to trust Fessy so much, and he doesn't want to believe Fessy's going to do it. So when Fessy does, it's almost like he's shocked, even though he shouldn't be shocked, if that makes sense.
Yeah, but I don't know, like Josh is a very passionate guy, and you can see it in his face when you're there. Like, I don't know if it's, like, I don't know if some people does it for clout, like, to get on to further seasons. Like, I don't know. But I don't know how they're so shocked. It's like, what are you shocked about? Like, when I'm shocked, I do argue, and you'll see that a lot more soon. But,
yes.
like, I don't know why, I don't know why he was so upset. It's like, Fessy and Casey's your friends anyways. So, like, you were already friends with them. Amber, you've known like for 2 minutes, and like you knew she was going in anyways. Maybe he just wanted an argument for TV, I don't know, but he knew the both of us was going in, so we weren't blindsided. And so many of them guys knew that I was going to be the person. Like even one of the things I was so shocked about, and I didn't even say it on Twitter, but I was like literally about to say it was. Did you see when after deliberation when Michelle went upstairs before I came in and I was like upset with crying with Ashley, and Michelle was like, if you don't want it to be Hughie, we won't put in Hughie. And Ashley turned around and said, no, we can't trust him anymore. And Nani was sat beside her and she was like nodding her head. It's like both of them was agreeing to put me in. So they knew I was going in. But on the way to elimination, Ashley was saying, just get yourself ready. Like you never know, you could just be true in, but she knew all along. Like all of these people knew these things. So I don't know. It's just such a ruthless game.
But you play it so well. And now we come to your shining moment of the episode. What I would like to start referring to as it's Hughie time. But it's you and our favorite champ fighting for your lives. And this was a really, really dramatic elimination. It's also the most amount of, do you know what sledging is for like cricket or rugby?
No.
It's basically talking shit to people during an athletic competition to throw them off their game. You are my new favorite king of that, because the amount of crap you threw at him throughout. But yeah, could you just talk us through how the elimination went, when you lost your key, when you were throwing shit at Coriel, and what it felt like as you came round to win?
Well, like just before we walked into elimination, Coriel was like outside and doing all of this and whatever else, and like there were like him and Michelle was really pumped up for this elimination. So when we came inside, it ended up being me, and like as me and Amber was doing it, and I like knew we was doing well, and like I just didn't, all my nerves just went. I just went for it and just done it. And I just done the best that I could do and whatever. And I knew we were doing good. So when him and Michelle would say their arms was like tied up, like this with the things which they had got themselves into. So you have to untangle yourself, because it happened to me and Amber also. And we had to untangle ourselves. That's what I was shouting at him, which the viewers couldn't see. I was saying, untangle yourself. Just, we don't care. Shut up. Fuck you. You're put me in there because you thought you could beat me, and I was so angry and so annoyed, and like my pride was so dented, and I don't know, it was just like, I don't know, your manly pride thing was so dented. So I was so angry at him, and so that's why I was screaming and shouting and saying all the crap I was saying to him. But I don't know, it's like I was so angry in the moment that I knew I was winning the elimination. Like, he was on his way up, we were on our way back down. I knew we couldn't lose. So I just decided to tell him to go fuck off whilst he was like trying to get producers to come in to untangle him, because that's what they were saying. They weren't speaking to us, they were speaking to production. They were shouting over, can you untangle us? So I was screaming, saying, do not untangle them, because we had to untangle ourselves also. So, and Amber's hands was like cut in like pieces because we got tangled right up together like this, and I had to jump over one of the poles, which like they don't show you all the elimination, and my whole shorts ripped open on the back because it got caught on one of the hooks. They tried to untangle me and Amber, so we untangled ourselves early on, and Corey and Michelle was ahead of us, and we caught up with them. So this is what made me so angry, and why I was shouting at him what they were saying. I was like, you've already fucking been snaky enough, don't try and get an easy way out of this. And
then you dropped the key.
Yeah, I dropped the key, and thank God that there was a moment I realized, it's like that they didn't show kind of in the episode. It was like something happened to, because they don't how they edit it, something happened to a part of that. I don't know how much I can say, but something happened to a part of that. I don't know, the apparatus that we use, let's say, to the challenge. So somebody had to step in to try to sort it out, a check in that. And in that moment, I realized the key wasn't in my hand. But if that hadn't have happened, we would have kept going. And
but you did
Corey
use those
Michelle
dancing skills, though, to grab it with the splits. Kyle was very
what you
impressed.
also didn't see, Corey and Michelle also dropped their key. So they didn't show that in the episode. They dropped theirs also, and they had to get theirs, however they got it also. But I was like saying to Amber, can you get that? So we couldn't get it. We were so wrapped up. So we had to pull the thing right down. Like I just didn't care about Amber's hands. I was like pulling us up and down that pole, and I just pulled it right down. And then I don't know. Then we restarted, so I just reached my leg out and just grabbed the key and pulled it in, lifted it up, and continued on to the end. And
then Amber flipped over the last bit, and there you were. Elimination
yeah. Remember she called. Thank fuck I wasn't the one in there, because I would not have been able to get over that. Yeah, I would not have been able to get over that. But we were so fast in that challenge. Like, doing that. My heart was in my mouth. And like, that was one of the best feelings of my whole life when we won.
And both of you were, sorry, I was going to say the both of you were very hyped after you won. You know, Amber went in with the old fuck big brother. You got into a bit of an altercation with Corey where he pushed you. Corey Lay, that is. Now, on the Aftermath with the wonderful Devon Simone, you said that this was because you and Coriel had agreed never to vote for each other and that you were going to stick together. And both of you have talked about how important it is to represent yourselves, but also to represent gay men on the show. And show how you shouldn't be stereotyped and how a gay man can do things just as much as a straight man. Can you tell us just a little bit about why this was so important to you?
You know, I just feel like as much as we all have to be our own individuals in the world, we can't just pair together because we're from certain backgrounds or whatever. But sometimes because you might have similar experiences in life, you can relate to one another. So it's nice to kind of support each other for those reasons. And it's also because I knew ultimately people were going to watch the show. So I was so proud of Corey, like when he won his first elimination, when he practically pulled all three of those guys over that ramp. Do you remember? With Michaela and Renan and Michelle. Like, he was a beast, and everybody was like, he is so strong. I was the proudest person in that lineup, and I was saying it to everybody, and everybody could see it in my face. I was so happy. And I just felt like he was probably the most political person within the house in terms of conversations he would have about Black people and gay people and representation. And like, he was one of those people that would interrupt anyone when it came to any sort of terminology. He was very PC. Everyone, like, you don't see this all on TV. So it was all these sorts of things that irritated me. It was like, well, you completely contradicted yourself. And like, I was one of these people that's like, I'm my own person, but like, from my background where I come from like a traveler family, coming from a traditional family, you're always put into a box your whole life. You always have people that tell you this is how you should be, or this is how you are, because you're a traveler or you're a man. So it's nice to be able to be your own person in this world, but that doesn't mean that you can't compete, you can't do as well as anybody else. So it's nice to speak about that and speak about your experiences so others can relate to that. And like, there could be some little boy or girl in the world that could watch the challenge and just see that and that could really help their lives. Maybe if I had more people like that when I was growing up, things would have been a lot easier for me. So that's what really upset me. Like I was really upset. I was a really, really emotional day that day.
Well, I think it's fair to say that you did give, if anyone was watching in that situation, you definitely gave them something to watch, which is quite lovely. So well done.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I think there's something I want to ask. Coriel obviously gave like quite a nice heartfelt confessional after. I don't know if you've seen it, saying like he was sorry, you two should back each other. And you said you and Corey have had it out since. Are you all good now?
Yeah, we are cordial, but I mean, what you need to realise is like he lives in America, I live in Ireland. We've never seen each other since the show, so we've only spoke via social media, and like I don't know the guy, so like he's apologised and explained how he's explained since. So I can just take somebody's word. I'm not like Jesus Christ. I've no grudges to hold, but back in that environment again, I would still stand by my word, and I'll always be supporting him. But I don't know, like he'd have to prove to me that he's going to do the same thing because he's already broken that before. But I mean, like what you need to remember is even after that confessional and it was all this upset and stuff, we then done Aftermath, which aired obviously after the show, but we filmed it obviously like a few weeks ago or whenever it was. So like that was ages afterwards. And again, if anybody's watched it, he turned around and he said to Devin Simone, well, I believe I could beat Hughie at absolutely anything that we do. And it was only because we was in pairs that Hughie won. So like, there you go again. You're kind of putting me down and making me feel like that again, which we don't need to hear. I don't know if you're just saying that so producers see you as outspoken so you get back on the show. Like, this is what I think about. I'm all for ambition, but don't put people down for clout. Do you know what I mean? We don't got to do that. So this is the types of things that I'm talking about. Do you get what I mean? So somebody can say sorry, but you need to act that way.
Yeah, don't say it with your words, say it with your actions.
Yeah, and I get like if he believes that, that's fine, but do act that way in an elimination against me. Let's go into the challenge if we come on the show again, and you can believe you're going to beat me, and then beat me. But you don't need to say it sat on a sofa once I'm on FaceTime like this, and you're on a sofa in bloody New York for no reason. Like, you're just throwing that in there, like, oh, you know, I could beat him at anything, sort of thing. Like you're just putting me down, and there's nothing to gain by doing that.
Yeah, also, you can always just tell him to check the scoreboard, because as it reads, it's 1 and 0 from what I think.
And like he was tweeting and stuff last night, like about how Hughie was like on came last in the very first challenge, and nobody threw you in, so don't say that you've had just as hard a time as I have. But I didn't come last in any of the other challenges, but people are still trying to throw me in against Kells and all these other guys. So, like, whatever, I don't care. Look, people are kind of maybe speaking on Twitter with how they felt at that time. I don't know.
But the thing is, though, Hughie, the thing is, you did have a very easy time when you were whipping his ass in elimination.
Maybe he wanted me to whip his ass in other ways, if you know what I mean.
Exclusive.
Those for Hughie.
The whole house, by the way, wanted me and Corey to have sex with each other. They talked about it every day.
How did it feel to be told off by TJ, by the way?
To what?
How did it feel to be told off by TJ after the elimination?
I think that was quite pathetic, actually. In real life, that went on for about 5 minutes, where he told me he believed I was putting on an act, that I was scared and stuff, and it was all an act, and I need to start having confidence or whatever. I don't know. I think that was quite silly. Like, I get where the man was coming from, but I think I was fully, like, as now I've explained to you, with all these things, like with Fessy, with Esther, or like bedroom making it a pact, standing by Corey Michelle twice to the point of I fell out with my own partner for them. Like, I feel like I had every right to feel that angry and upset. Do you know what I mean?
It's
like,
a pressure cooker, isn't it?
I
you
was
finally
literally
get that release.
told, you are weak, you are stupid, you are not able to do anything. I'd actually that completely excluded me. Then, and like when she was shouting at me saying, "Do not pick me back," which doesn't do anything for anybody's confidence. So I
shut up, Hughie.
I have every right to like be a bit angry, TJ. I mean, I think he was just annoyed because from the moment we got to that elimination to that point, we were probably there for like 3 hours, and it was raining. Josh was screaming at Fessy for about 35 minutes.
Oh, I love the moment TJ got his phone out when Josh was ranting.
Yeah. Now, you know me and Corey's argument, that literally went on for at least 15, 20 minutes.
Oh, wow.
So, like, I could think the mom was just tired and wanted to go home. So, I get it.
And you mentioned, Ashley was standing up the top saying, I love you, but don't pick me. So you went and chose Nani, or as we call her now, Noemi, to be your partner, which was a fantastic move.
I know it really wasn't. Actually, shut up.
I'll carry on with the question so you don't accidentally spoil anything. I'm looking after you here, Hughie. Now, she's really great socially. Everyone likes her. She seems to be a part of every single alliance. She's a really lovely girl. I'm guessing that was your thinking behind picking her.
Completely. I was like, who's going to steal her from me? She's not the best competitor. She has
but not the worst.
No, oh my God, she's not the worst. She's amazing. She's been, hasn't she been to the final before? I'm sure last season.
Yeah, last season.
Yeah, actually, free agents and double agents. She just loves an agent-based final, this is another season
amazing.
for it.
And she's obviously shagging Casey now, so Casey's got all her friends. Maybe Fessy won't ever vote me in again because I'm with Nani and Casey. I was trying to think about, she's still Ashley's friend. They're all their little alliances to share a bedroom together. I was thinking, this girl is literally in the middle of everyone. Nobody's going to choose her. Nobody will take her from me. It's going to be Casey or it's going to be Tori that's going to be getting stole from now on. This is how I felt. So this was my decision making in choosing her. So let's just wait for the next few episodes.
Let's wait and see what happens.
Tune in next week to find out with Hughie and Nani.
That's how I felt at the time. And she ends up being when you see the next episode, she ends up being such a great partner. And she was so supportive and stuff. And I can see why Gobbo loved her. And I felt really horrible when I took her off of Gobbo, but I never ever told Gobbo I wouldn't do that. If Gobbo had ever said to me, if you ever win, don't choose Nani, I would have stood by that, even though I thought she was the best person. But he never did. Gobbo was just kind of in his own world, and I just everyone was kind of saying stuff, and then what's she called? Amber was stood next to me, kind of mouthing stuff to me, and I was about to say Ashley, and then I was going to say Tori, and then I was like, Nani.
Tori would only get stolen back, wouldn't she?
Yeah. So then I just went Nani. I was going to pick Anissa as well, and Anissa was like, yeah. So I got Nani. Nani was my best decision in that moment. Let's say it that way.
That's such a nice thing to say about. So we've got 4 new partnerships. Levi and I always play a game at the end of every pod, which is who traded up, who traded down. So you traded Ashley for Nani. Trade up or trade down?
Maybe trade up because she was easier to work with for me.
Yeah, that was very, very diplomatic. Amber and number 1 draft pick Devin Walker. Trade up or trade down from Josh?
Up. It's an up. Yeah, it's an up. It is not because he's better than Josh at challenges. It's more to do with the game.
Yeah. It's also the fact he can drink 700 beers, which I always admire in a man. And now we've got Ashley going from you to Josh. That's definitely a down.
Down.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like me and Josh might be a little bit similar in the sense that we have really bad tempers. So me, Josh, and Ashley and Amanda probably really should have a lot more anger management and therapy before we get allowed to go on TV shows. Really. So
no, that's why you're on the TV shows.
Yeah, no. I mean, when all these shows like Love Island are all we're watching out for people's mental health. No, you're not. You're pretending to be. No, we want the most insecure, most craziest, most argumentative, most sex crazed, most I don't know, most weirdest people ever, and that's what Josh and Ashley is. So they shouldn't be together at all.
That's the spin-off I want, is you, Amanda, and Ashley in a room just arguing about inconsequential shit and seeing who wins. It's like,
oh my
you
God,
fucking ate the last piece of cheese, you little bastard. Let's see
a
what happens
TV
here.
show where the three of you just go on holiday.
Actually, that would
Oh,
work.
we'd be amazing at that.
I'm pitching it to MTV. I'm pitching it to MTV.
Go on, pitch away.
Yeah. Can we come? Sounds fun.
Yous can come and yous can do like, what can we get used to do?
We'll do little podcasts on the side.
Yeah,
You
and
can be our masseuses.
I'll drink you all under the table. Levi, take us home, buddy.
Well, first of all, I'd like to say thank you for offering me the role of Amanda and Ashley's masseuse. I'm very pleased with that. More than happy to take that role.
Shotgun Hughie's masseuse.
And obviously, we've got the rookie team of Emmy and Garbo, which is a trade down because now they have the biggest targets on their back.
Yeah, and they're both quite nuts, and they're both quite crazy. Garbo is the funniest guy ever, and Emmy needs anger management also.
I love Emmy. As part of the podcast, George challenges me every week to listen to one of Emmy's songs every single week.
She's really good.
Yeah, I don't understand any Romanian, but like the music and the rapping is really good.
She's very, very good. Burner's really good. You need to watch Burner's music online.
Awesome. So we're now 4 episodes in, Hughie. You've already added so much to the show. Obviously, without giving away any spoilers, and if I feel like you're about to, don't worry, I will save you from that. Can you tell us about how much you enjoyed your experience on the show, and about the friends that you made, and who your 3 favorites are from the cast?
Right. So I feel like even since the show, my favorites may have changed because of how like lovely some people is and how much I've connected with some people since the program. But like, if I speak strictly on the day that I left, how I felt, my 3 favorites probably were Kyle, Amanda, and Ashley, for sure, definitely. But then there's big team. There's none. I loved so many people. I actually had arguments with people, and I have more to come, more shit, like loads to come. I still loved everybody, and I really got along with everyone. And I don't think anybody ended up ever hating me or having an issue. I don't know. We were just all psychopaths at moments. But my experience, it was one of the most incredible things I ever done. Really reminded me of when I was on Big Brother 4 years or whatever, 5 years before. And it really helped me because I just got through a breakup like a few months before that. Like life was shit, so it really helped me move past that. It was really great. It was just an incredible opportunity, an amazing experience I never ever thought I would get. And when I got to do that, and like we went in to do the first day of filming, I was like, oh my God, I'm actually on the challenge, like to show that I see all these people there. And like so many British reality stars and stuff would want to do all these shows and get these gigs. And I'm like, I got that opportunity. And by the end, I was like, maybe I might get cast for another season. Like maybe I've done enough, maybe I've been part of enough. So like I had a great time, and I did not, when I went home, I didn't have any regrets, even though I had ups and downs. And I felt good. I felt proud of I was really proud of myself.
Not only are we proud of you, but we're very, very proud of ourselves for being lucky enough for getting you on. I just want to say thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you.
Honestly, it's been an absolute pleasure. Not quite like any podcast interview I've ever done, but it will definitely stick in my memory more than quite a lot of other.
Thank you so much. It's been the best
we've had a lot of laughs here. Now, what have you got coming up next? Where can people follow you? Where can they keep up with you? Promote, Hughie. This is we're giving it to you.
Go with me, Hughie. Go watch all of my videos online and just love Hughie. So next thing I'm doing tomorrow, because I would like to say it's been released in the media, I'm doing this Irish TV show called Living with Lucy. Should we start filming tomorrow? And it's about this Irish TV presenter who comes to live with people for a weekend, to spend like a weekend in their life. But it's people who's like from TV or politicians or celebrities or whatever. So I'm on this season, so we'll start filming tomorrow. So it should be a really fun weekend. I'm doing a new celebrity dating show, which I just finished filming on August 31st. That will come out in October, but I can't tell you what it is.
Okay.
It's going to be really, really funny, actually, by the way, as well. And I'm doing Ireland's First Dates again. That comes out next year in February.
Oh, mate, so you've got lots on, and fingers crossed, another series of the challenge.
Maybe another challenge. We'll see. Maybe I might have already signed up. Maybe I might not have.
Oh,
maybe
Hughie.
I don't want to do another one. Who knows?
Hughie, you are such a tease.
Yeah.
I'm such a tease, especially on my OnlyFans. I'm a big tease on there.
He's got an OnlyFans as well. Subscribe to that.
And you go to my Cameo to get personalized videos from Hughie.
And what's your Instagram and Twitter? Because I don't want to butcher the pronunciation.
Right, so Hughie Mon official on Instagram and Hughie_Mon on Twitter.
Perfect. Follow Hughie. He is absolutely hilarious entertainment. He is our favourite Irish challenger of all time, and
because there's no more.
And based on just chatting to you for the last few weeks and having you on this podcast, he's a thoroughly, genuinely nice guy.
Thank you
Hughie,
so much.
Thank you
Funny
so much.
and just the right amount of perverted.
Thank you so much.
It's been an absolute pleasure, and we've got our fingers crossed for you for the rest of the season.
Thanks so much. Thank you, guys.
What an absolutely lovely guy.
I really, really like Hughie. He's just lovely.
He's hilarious. Do you know what it is? He's unapologetically Hughie, and he doesn't care what people think. He is him, and if you don't like it, then as far as he's concerned, you can fuck off. And if you do like it, welcome to the party.
And as far as I'm concerned, fuck off as well. Let him be himself. He's brilliant. He's outspoken and dropped a very, very solid amount of innuendos during that podcast. I could not keep up or hide my erection.
Oh dear. And on that note, I think it is time for me to wrap up. So huge thank you to you, George, because I felt bad that I didn't thank you last week at the end of the podcast. So thank you very much for being here, George.
The fact you messaged me after that was incredibly sweet.
But I have to say a big thank you to Hughie for joining us and breaking down that episode. As I said, bit of a different episode this week. It was kind of a mixture of an interview and a reaction, but we had an absolutely fantastic time. We hope that you all enjoyed listening to it. We will be back next week, as we always are. Next week, we're going to be recording on a Friday due to work commitments. So it's going to come out a day later, as well as the following week due to other commitments as well. So for the next 2 weeks, we're going to be posting on a Friday, but then we will be back to our usual Thursday reactions. So as I always say, continue the conversation over on the Challenge subreddit. And if you want to get in contact with us, we are at Challenge React over on Twitter and Instagram. But as we always say, we barely use the Twitter. We mainly use the Instagram. But until next week, why don't we leave you with a trailer for next week's episode of The Challenge, Spies, Lies, and Allies.